Islamic True Stories. 10 stories taken from the biographies of the companions. The lives of the companions in the history of Islam are an eternal beacon of light for us. The companions were the great figures of the early era of Islam, from whose lives we find examples of religious teachings, morality, and steadfastness in the path of Allah. Various incidents from their lives inspire us in difficult times of life, teaching us how to maintain justice, courage, patience, and loyalty to Allah. In this blog post, we will share 10 Islamic true stories taken from the biographies of the companions, which will provide important lessons in our daily lives. Islamic True Story 1. Example of Abu Bakr, R.A.'s charity. Background: when Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, was working to strengthen the foundation of Islam in Medina, the Muslims needed financial support. Once, the Prophet, PBUH, called for donations from his companions so that they could buy the necessary equipment to prepare for war. Fact: Abu Bakr, R.A., was a wealthy merchant who never hesitated to dedicate all his wealth to Islam. That day, he came to the Prophet, PBUH, with all his wealth and donated it. The Prophet, PBUH, asked, "What have you left for your family?" Abu Bakr, R.A., replied, "I have left for them Allah and His Messenger." Tirmidhi, Hadith number 3675. Lesson: from this story we learn that we should have complete faith and dependence on Allah in our lives. We should be selfless in giving, because Allah is the provider of our sustenance. Read more. Islamic Quiz. 100 questions and answers. 10 categories. Islamic captions. 500 inspirational and educational quotes. Islamic stories. A collection of moral lessons and inspiration. Islamic True Story 2. Umar, R.A.'s night visit to keep an eye on his subjects. Umar ibn al-Khattab, R.A., the second caliph of Islam, was a ruler who has been immortalized in history for his sense of justice and responsibility. He was always determined to ensure the welfare of his subjects, even if it meant going out in the dark of night. One night, Umar, R.A., was walking around Medina with his little companion Aslam. In the stillness of the cool night, he heard faint cries coming from a house. Umar, R.A., went towards it and saw a poor woman sitting with her small children. She was pretending to cook something by placing a pot on the fire, as if to appease their hunger. But there was nothing in the pot, it was just water, which was dripping continuously. Umar, R.A., was shocked and asked the woman, "Why are you deceiving the children like this?" The woman replied, "We have nothing to eat. I am putting water in the pot, as if the children think something is cooking and they slowly fall asleep. No one is looking after us, not even the caliph does anything for us." Hearing the woman's words, Umar's heart wept. He considered himself responsible for the welfare of his subjects, and in this situation he was overcome with guilt. He immediately set out with Aslam to provide food. The caliph himself carried the sack full of food on his shoulders. When Aslam tried to help him, Umar, R.A., said, "Who will carry my burden on the day of judgment? Let me fulfill my duty myself today." Returning to the woman's house, he cooked food with his own hands and fed the children. When the children were satisfied and fell asleep, Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, returned with a satisfied heart, but did not tell the woman that he was the great caliph of the Muslim world. Lesson: this incident is a symbol of Umar's, R.A., deep compassion, sense of responsibility and justice towards his subjects. He was a ruler, but he never shied away from fulfilling his responsibilities towards his subjects. His reign proves that a good ruler does not rule only by law, but also ensures the well-being of his subjects with his heart. Reference: Biography of Umar, R.A., in Ibn Kathir, Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, and other Islamic historical books. Islamic True Story 3. The Bravery of Ali, R.A. Background: the Battle of Badr was a pivotal moment in Islamic history, where only 313 companions fought against the Quraysh of Mecca. The bravery of Ali, R.A., the cousin of the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, was extraordinary. Fact: in the Battle of Badr, Ali fought alone against the enemy with his sword. His indomitable courage and strong faith made the enemies fear him. Ali was a warrior who never looked back. His bravery is a shining example for the Muslim Ummah. Lesson: from this story we learn that courage and confidence are essential to stay on the path of truth. We should not lose our moral fortitude when faced with any adversity. Islamic True Story 4. The Strategy of Khalid bin Walid Background: Khalid bin Walid was known in Islamic history as the Sword of Allah. He was an unstoppable commander, well known for his war tactics. Fact: after the Battle of Uhud, when the Muslims were in a difficult situation, Khalid foiled the enemy's plans through his strategic thinking and planning. He struck where the enemy was weak and defeated them. His leadership qualities and ability to act according to plan were unprecedented. Lesson: from the life of Khalid we learn that strategic thinking and determination are very important for success. Whatever the situation, we need to face it with wisdom and courage. Story 5. The Patience and Tolerance of Uthman Background: Uthman ibn Affan was the third caliph of Islam, who was renowned for his morality, patience, and magnanimity. During his reign, he faced various challenges, but always faced them with patience. Fact: during the caliphate of Uthman rebels conspired against him and planned to kill him. But he never resorted to violence, but rather endured this difficult time with patience and tolerance. Even during the attacks of the rebels, he was reciting the Quran and remained steadfast in his faith. Lesson: from the life of Uthman we learn that it is very important to maintain patience and tolerance in difficult times. We must face all challenges with faith in Allah. Story 6. The Loyalty and Firmness of Bilal Background: Bilal ibn Rabah, may Allah be pleased with him, was the first muezzin of Islam and a beloved companion of the Prophet, peace be upon him. He was an East African slave who endured immense hardship for the sake of Islam. Fact: after embracing Islam in Mecca, Bilal was tortured. He was left in the hot sand of the desert and stones were pressed against his chest to make him renounce Islam. But he endured all the hardships and kept saying, Ahad, Ahad, Allah is one, Allah is one. His steadfastness and obedience have remained a great example in the history of Islam. Al-Bukhari, Hadith number 375. Lesson: from the life of Bilal we learn that our loyalty and faith in Allah must always remain strong. We must remain steadfast in the power of faith in any situation in life. Islamic True Story 7. Salman al-Farisi's Search for Truth. Background: Salman al-Farisi was a Persian who left his homeland in search of truth. He was a Zoroastrian from Persia, but he had a thirst for truth in his heart. Fact: Salman first converted to Christianity and then met religious leaders from different countries in search of the truth. Finally, he came to Medina and met the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, and embraced Islam. His search teaches us that we should strive relentlessly to find the path to truth. Al-Hakim, Mustadrak, Hadith number 4535. Lesson: from this story we learn that to walk the path of truth, we should have patience, honesty, and a passion for the truth. Islamic True Story 8. Preservation of Hadith of Abu Huraira Background: Abu Huraira was one of the beloved companions of Islam, who preserved thousands of hadiths from the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH. It is through his efforts that the hadiths of the Prophet, PBUH, have reached us today. Fact: Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, used to stay with the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, during the day and memorize hadith at night. He would always carry a container with him, which contained tools for writing hadith. His efforts to preserve this hadith are a priceless treasure for us. Al-Bukhari, Hadith number 3579. Lesson: from this story we learn that we should work selflessly to gather and preserve religious knowledge. Acquiring knowledge and spreading it to others is a noble act. Story 9. The Bravery and Martyrdom of Sumayya, R.A. Background: Sumayya bint Qayyat, R.A., was the first female martyr in Islam. She and her family were persecuted in Mecca, but they did not abandon their faith in Islam. Fact: Sumayya, R.A., was brutally tortured along with her son Umar and husband Yasir. One day, Abu Jahl killed her, and she became the first female martyr for Islam. Her sacrifice is a great example for the Muslim Ummah. Al-ILM, Ibn Ishaq, Sirat Rasulullah. Lesson: from this story we learn that to follow the path of faith, we must be ready to give up everything. We should sacrifice everything in our lives for the sake of Allah. Islamic True Story 10. The Sacrifice and Responsibility of Musa bin Umair, R.A. Background: Musa bin Umair, R.A., was a wealthy young man from Mecca who was so enamored with Islam that he abandoned all his luxuries and joined the Prophet, PBUH. He was sent to Medina as the first missionary of Islam. Fact: Musa, R.A., left all his wealth, family, and comforts and went to Medina to preach Islam. As a result of his call, a large part of the Ansar of Medina embraced Islam. Musa, R.A., was martyred in the Battle of Badr, and not even a single cloth was enough for his shroud. His sacrifice is a unique example in the propagation and spread of Islam. Al-Islam, Ibn Ishaq, Sirat Rasulullah. Lesson: from this story we learn that responsibility and sacrifice are the keys to success in the path of Islam. We must always be ready to propagate and spread Islam in our lives. Conclusion: these real-life stories from the lives of the companions show us how to remain steadfast on the path of truth and justice. From their lives, we learn lessons in courage, patience, morality, and complete faith in Allah. By following these lessons in our lives, we can become an ideal Muslim and walk in the path of Allah.